Hello, I'm Sharon and welcome to my Living with Flourish video blog. In my last vlog, I introduced you to the Flourish model and the scores for my self-assessment. What became clear at my first coaching session was the amount of time I said, I just haven't got time to do that, I know what I'm doing, but I'm just too busy. Now, time management and productivity is a huge topic and one that I've been researching a lot recently to try and improve the way I spend my time. And this doesn't just mean my time at work and doing all the things I ought to do, but also making time for all the things I want and need to do for my own happiness. So I said that my second video blog was going to be about time management and how I can make time for my own well-being, health and happiness. But the more I started working on the content, the more I realised that this is about an awful lot more than just time management. And in fact, I don't actually like the term time management. It seems really restrictive and all about how you organise the things you're doing rather than spending your time in the best way for you as well as your organisation. So I came to the conclusion that while this is part of the picture, what I want to talk to you about is much more fundamental than that. So I looked around on the internet, thought about what this really meant to me and played around with a few words. Some of my favourites were balancing your life, living your values, living with meaning, focusing on your purpose, maximising your time experiences. How do they sound to you? Bit more exciting, I think, than time management, but do any of them seem to particularly resonate with you personally? Mindfulness guru Sandy Newbegin, who's author of the marvellous books Mind Calm and Body Calm, told a story about how he asked his mentor, "So, what is the meaning of life then?" He was rather disappointed when the response was, "Life is for living." However, after reflecting on this, he realised that it really was as simple as that. He made a few changes to the phrase to suit his purpose and came up with, "Life is for living fully and completely." And I think for me, this is the most fundamental thing that makes a difference in how well or not you manage your time and your life. So after all this thinking, I've decided to entitle this video, "Having the Time of My Life." In other words, maximising the time I have available to focus on those things that matter to me and will help me to achieve the goals and the happiness that I want. So having the time of your life is about many things. And today I'm going to talk about a couple of the key building blocks. So let's start by talking a little bit more about time. I read a quote that said, "Very few people have enough time, and yet almost everyone has all the time in the world." That really resonated with me. Time is the most valuable resource we have. In some languages, it is the most frequently used noun. Time is actually more valuable than money, so how we invest our time capital, we need to think about that really carefully. We would describe our lives as the time we have on earth. So if you agree that the meaning of life is to live life fully and completely, then our most important task in life is to make the most of our time. Time really is so valuable because it's finite, it's a very scarce commodity. It can't be saved up or stored, but it really can be wasted. And once time is spent, it can't be recovered or earned back. You can't increase the time you have, and the passage of time is constant and irrevocable. And time ultimately is life. Someone with a pretty high life expectancy available to them still only has a maximum of about 200,000 hours of time in their life. So how much is 1 hour of your time in your life worth to you? How much is 1 minute worth to you? So treat today as the first day of the rest of your life and ensure that you really do have the time of your life. To literally make time is not possible, but what you can do is to get more done in the time available. Once time's gone, you've got even less time to do what you want to. So let's start by maximising our time right here, right now. Don't wait. Don't waste another moment of your time. Get started now. So the first step is to get some focus. All the research that I've read, whether about pure time management or wider goal setting and personal focus, say that the starting point is about being clear on what you want to achieve, whether in your work or your life overall. The same principles apply to both. We live in a world of distractions and multiple pulls on our time. We seem to be busier than ever before, both at work and at home. We think multitasking is a good thing, but research actually shows that constant distractions and trying to focus on more than one thing actually lowers our IQ in the moment by 10 to 15 points. Then we go and veg out in front of the telly, but we don't give it our full attention. We're often reading Facebook or Twitter, playing games on our computer or catching up on emails. One of the best ways to stop being so busy is to stop trying to cram in so much and to start living fully in the moment. Now, this is a big part of mindfulness, and I will talk about that more in some of the future video blogs. But let's think about now how easy it is in that environment to lose focus on what's important and to get dragged down into the details, distractions and procrastinations, and living half a life when you're constantly thinking about something other than what you're actually doing at the moment. So the most important steps are to take some time out to consider what you're here to do, and then do an audit of how you're currently spending your time and whether you're devoting enough attention to what's really important. When I talk to organisations and delegates about change and improvement, I talk about the concept of systems thinking. One aspect of this is that every system has a purpose, what we're actually here to do. And there's two types of demand. The first is value demand, and this is the stuff that actually helps you to achieve your purpose. But we also have an awful lot of failure demand. Research shows that we waste around 60% of our working time because we're not clear on objectives, we don't plan, and we let time run away with us. So I took a bit of time to focus on what's important to me in my life, both generally and at work. I explored my personal values and my aspirations for my business and the work that I do. Now, my biggest personal value is about spending quality time with friends and family. And my purposeful passion, as we call it at Pearl Catchers, is helping people and organisations to flourish by focusing on their purpose, reigniting their passion and developing their mindset and skills to be the best that they can be. So then I took some time to look at how I spend my time, when I maximise it and when I waste it. And unsurprisingly, I found that I spent a lot of time on things that steal my time, such as trying to find things in a disorganised space, getting distracted and procrastinating on those big or unpleasant jobs. And most importantly, not planning my time around the most important things that will help me live the life that I want both at home and at work. So have you heard of the Burrito Law? The idea that actually in a newspaper, for example, 20% of the newspaper will contain 80% of the news, or that 20% of your sales come from 80% of your customers. So what I realised is that I need to do what I tell my delegates to do, and that I need to spend at least 20% of my time on those things that really matter to me. So I decided to set myself some goals. I don't like the idea of New Year's resolutions because you finish them straight away. But as it's my 50th year, I thought I would make some new me, new year resolutions. So it's a new me year resolution, if you like. So my overall goal is to live a truly flourishing life. And to do that, there were three things that started to come out for me as really important. The first thing was to focus my time and energy on the things and people that really matter to me. And that means planning and spending time with people that I love and whose company I enjoy. There's something about improving my physicality, both my literal physicality and decluttering all aspects of my life, both my physical space, the office, and things that take up time that I don't really want to do. And to removing some of the unhealthy fat from the wonderful body that I've got, and to give my body the nutrition and exercise I need to have the energy to do all these great things and to be around for a very long time to come. And as part of that, I want to build my business and to be able to flourish through all of the things that I'm doing. So there's some ways that I help to keep my focus on this now. I send myself a daily email that focuses on what I'm doing. I look at what are the things that I want from the big picture, and I look at my 3 priorities for that day. I remind myself daily and weekly of all of the things that are most important to me. I have them written down somewhere clearly for me. I take time out each day to see how well I'm actually achieving those. And I also have a number of much more tactical tips, which are probably more traditional time management for managing my day-to-day time. And I'll tell you all about those in the next video blog in a couple of weeks' time. However, all my work and my experience shows me that everything starts with your mindset, and actually your language creates your own reality. So the first point in my next video blog is going to be to focus on becoming more aware of the language that you use and how this can create your own reality. For example, if you say something's going to be a nightmare, guess what? It probably will. So as I said earlier, don't wait. Don't waste another moment of your time. Get started now. Take some time out between now and my next video blog to really focus on your purpose, to create some goals and to start planning your time around achieving those. And then at the next session, I'm going to give you some tips on how we can manage this in a much more practical way. But until then, keep smiling and keep flourishing. Thank you.